Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and I am delighted to say that we have the return of Ben Needham today. Ben Needham, I think an Australian doctor, if my memory serves. Memory is needed because Ben Needham was the constructor, I believe, of our first ever Patreon reward, which was a sort of, well, a Sudoku quest quite like this month's Patreon reward itself, which was a Lord of the Rings Sudoku quest. In fact, Ben even passed on his congratulations to Blobs for a brilliant hunt, and there is a very good advertisement. Ben has certainly contributed a couple of brilliant hunts himself, and is a very good Sudoku constructor. So I'm looking forward to today's adventure in a Cryptic cave, which we will find out about in a moment. Now, before we do that, don't forget the aforementioned Patreon, and there will be a new reward next month. Of course, there always is on the first of every month, and there are many other reasons to engage with us on Patreon. Just $2 a month will allow you to become a member. It's very, very good value. Or you could get our merchandise, Fence Sudoku Pad, or some of our apps on the links under the video, and they are also very good value, I must say. We have a Domino app, which features a number of Cryptic puzzles like today. Cryptic is the Polish word for dots, I think, so I've been told, and the black and white dots are, well, they are quite seminal in Sudoku history, really. They are one of the earliest variant forms of Sudoku that was created in the various championships that began before Cracking the Cryptic did, so they're well known. Cave puzzles are more of a staple of the World Puzzle Federation puzzles, the pencil puzzles, and Ben has combined them in this puzzle. So I'm going to go through the rules now, why not? Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we're going to try and put 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Shade some cells, walls, such that they form orthogonally connected regions that must touch an edge of the grid. Similarly, leave some cells unshaded, tunnel, to form a single orthogonally connected path which may not touch itself diagonally and does not branch. And no 2x2 area of the grid may be completely shaded or unshaded. So we're going to have a path through this grid that leaves no 2x2 wall cells. I mean, I'm literally just attempting a path here that might work, and I probably won't even be able to manage to do it. Oh look, this is okay so far. No, yeah, okay, I think this does it. Look, if I get to there, that is a valid path that doesn't leave any 2x2 shaded wall areas. Anyway, so I don't think that'll be the right path, but we shall find out. The path doesn't branch. It doesn't touch itself diagonally, and I've managed to make sure to avoid those things here. Cells marked with a square indicate how many cells, including themselves, they see orthogonally. Walls block their view, but they may themselves be walls. So a wall, you kind of got to envisage somebody in that wall looking out at the path. So this wall cell would see one cell of the path to the right and one cell of the path to the north, and you'd put a 2. This path cell in the top row would see 6 cells before it got blocked. Okay, and those would be the digits that go in those squares. It's a bit complicated, but actually I find it a little bit creepy to imagine the character in the wall looking out of it. Walls have eyes in this puzzle. Now, where did we get to? White dots indicate consecutive digits along the path, and all white dots are shown. Black dots indicate that cells are in a 1:2 ratio within the wall. All black dots are shown. So the path I've drawn is clearly not right, because we've got black dots on the path, white dots in the walls, and dots connecting path and walls, which can't be right. It says, note that dots do not disclose relationships between shaded and unshaded cells. So there is a negative constraint on white dots and black dots. White dots are consecutive digits both on the path. Black dots are 1 to 2 ratios both in the wall. Okay, and all are shown that fulfill both those criteria in each case. I think that's understandable. I understand it. I hope you do. Just read the rules carefully if you're stuck at any point. But actually, what I think that does is give us a good start into the puzzle. We shall see. Let's get cracking. So the reason I think that gives us a good start is because all the white dots are joining 2 path cells. So if I make the path green, I can colour all of these cells green, I think. I don't see why not. So let's do that. Then all of the black cell all of the cells joined by black dots, I can shade. What colour are we going to make? I suppose grey. Is that grey enough? I think I could make it darker, couldn't I? I never know how to do this. It's so annoying. I'm so bad at controlling this stuff. No, I don't know. Oh, no. Okay, let's leave it at, I hope you can see this grey that I'm using. Stop, Mark. Use another colour. I tell you what, I'm going to make the path yellow and the walls blue. There we go. That will give us some contrast and clarity. And I think yellow is a reasonable colour for the path and blue for the walls. Okay, anyway, now we take it up at this point. I have to avoid 2x2s, and that's easy. I'm quite good at spotting 2x2s. So those all go blue to avoid any yellow 2x2s. So does that one. This one goes yellow to avoid a blue 2x2. So do all of these cells. And this is great. I've got half the grid coloured already without really having had to do any thinking at all. I'm not saying I don't want to do thinking. I'm just saying it's a bit easier if you don't have to think very hard. Now, the path is one single path entity. It doesn't branch. And it doesn't touch itself diagonally. So I think I can colour in all of these cells. Remember, this path can't be touched diagonally from there, so that's not yellow. And these cells must kind of be blue to hive it off. In fact, that must be blue, otherwise it would touch diagonally as well. And that one. Now, I'm being careful here. This could be blue if these were 2 path ends, or if that was a path end. Now, okay, what I want to do is find both path ends so that once I can find both path ends, anywhere that the path looks like it might have an end can't be an end. There are only 2 ends of the path. It's a bit like a snake. And actually, I can do a bit more. I can find that that's blue and that's blue because of this path that definitely does go round here. That's blue. Now, I don't know about this one because the path could go there, but now I've got more, well, I've got at least one more 2x2 to avoid there. That's yellow. And now the path has done that. That's blue. Now, I think I've got a definite end of the path in box 1, either in that cell or in that cell. So, yeah, that is definitely true. The path obviously can't come back here. So that's one end. Right, now I was going to shade this yellow, but sorry about the pinging. That's one end of the path. So, now there is still another end of the path somewhere. If I was to shade this blue, that would be a definite end. I suppose this, no, that wouldn't work. If this continued out, it would join up with that bit of the path and we'd isolate the corner. So that's definitely yellow. That's blue now because the path has curled round there. This could be an end of the path, so I'm not making this yellow. In fact, if this was yellow, the path would join up here and that would get cut off. So that's blue and this is the other end. Excellent. Right, we found both ends. One's there and one's there. Nothing else is an end. So I can connect those up as yellow. This has to get out as yellow now. That becomes blue. That's yellow, it has to get out. That's yellow, it has to get out. These either join up like that or round like that. Over here, we could end in the corner. These two are blue. That includes a square. So we do have at least one wall that is a square. And then this could join up either straight or in a number of different curves into column 1. So this is, I think, our starting pattern. Now we can fill in some squares. So this digit sees 6 yellows, including itself. This one sees 4 or 5. This one, though, sees 4. So that has to be a 5, and that determines that the path goes to here, and then it must carry on up column 9, and we've finished that bit. This sees 3. This one sees 4. This one sees 1 or 2. And this one, who knows? This rather depends on whether it's blue or yellow. And I really don't know the answer, interestingly, to that. Okay, I'll come back to that one. Now, okay, this is 3 or 2, and that is 2 or, it's not 3 or 2, sorry. That's 3 or 5, and this is 2 or 6. This group has got a 2 or a 4 in the middle. It's either a 1, 2, 4 set or a 2, 4, 8 set, so it's definitely using 2 and 4. Where else? This is not 4, 2 or 4, 8. It could be 6, 3, or it could be a 1, 2 pair. This one I don't know about. Remember, there's a negative constraint as well within the blue or yellow areas on white dots in the yellow area and blue dots in the black dots in the blue area. This one sees 4 and 6. That's a definite 1, 2 pair. The even digit on this white dot is now 8. That's a 3 or a 5 by white dot rules. The even digit here is a 6 or an 8. Not so sure about that pair. Hang on, this can't go 4, 3, 2, or that couldn't be 1, 2, or 6, 3. So this goes 4, 5, 6. And this is another 1, 2 pair, just like that one. Interesting. The other digits in this row are 3, 7, 8, and 9 in some order. Now, what else does that give us? This is not a 6, 3 dot. It's also not a 1, 2 because that would break this cell. So there is a 4 here. It's either 2, 4 or 4, 8. 6 in this box is a little hard to place. We've got that that 6 in the corner that rules it out of there. 6 also can't be here or here because there would be a white dot along the path. So, 6 also can't be here because the other white dot cells would have to include a 5. So 6 is in one of those two. It's either here on the blue or here with a 7, 8 pair, which would be really helpful actually. And then there's a 6 in one of these cells. If that's a 6, this is a 3. Then this would be a 3, 6 pair. It's interesting. It's a very interesting idea, this. The path wasn't, well, up to this point, the path wasn't that hard to draw. Maybe that bit was a little tricky, but this puzzle is much more about the Sudoku than the path. Isn't that interesting? Now, where's 5 in this box? It's ruled out of those cells by the 5s we've got. If it was on this white dot, it couldn't be with 4. It would have to be there with a 6 here. So 5's in one of those two, which is a bit weird. Ah, 6. 6 is not in those cells because they are made up of from 1, 2, 4, 8. And it's not in those cells because of that. So 6 is definitely in one of these cells in box 5. Now, what's exciting about that is not that it puts 6 into one of those two, but that it keeps 6, 3 off this black dot. And this is therefore formed from 1, 2, 4, or 8. They're the other black dot cells. So is this one. But in this box, we've got 1, 2, and 4 placed. So that is an 8. And that's a 4. And this is now not 4 or 1. This is 2 or 8. And now we've got a 4 here and a 4 in one of those cells. So there's a 4 in one of these two. If it's there, it's with a 3. That does look possible. I'm finding it very difficult to try and use this negative constraint whilst ignoring all blue-yellow connections for that. Oh, look, hang on. 8, 4 is looking across this. Let's do positive things. That's a 2. That's a 4 now. That's a 1. That's a 2. There's a 2 in one of these cells. That's got to be helpful. It could go 1, 2, 3. Or I don't think this cell can be a 2. We couldn't count down 2, 1, 0, and we couldn't count up 2, 3, 4 because that would clash with 4s. So the 2 is definitely here. These are a 1, 3 pair surrounding it. We know how they go. We can place 6 in the box. And that stops this being a 6. And that means one of these is a 6 on a white dot. And that doesn't actually help much, oddly. Oh, this can't be 4 by the white dot negative constraint rule. So one of these two is the 4 in this box. It's quite difficult to remember this negative constraint and how to apply it. I'm enjoying the challenge. 5 is now in one of these two cells in this row. Definite. 5 is not there on the white dot rule. Oh, 5 is placed, therefore, in box 9. Now 5's in one of those two cells. Now, did that do anything in this box? Yes, I know what the even digit on this white dot is. It is 6. Because 2 has been used there and 4 and 8 there. So there's a 6 used there. I don't know, and I still don't know about this path, what it does, how it gets there. I'm enjoying this, though, I have to say. This is good fun. Right. Black dot here. Now, this can't be... This is a black dot digit, obviously, and it's seeing 1, 2, and 4. So it's 3, 6, or 8. But I can rule out 3 because that can't be 6 because of that. I can rule out 8 because this can't be 4 because there's a 4 in there somewhere. So this is a 6 with a 3 there. That's not a 6 now. That 3 means this is a 3 at the bottom by sudoku. That means this is a 5 because of the bottom row. That means this isn't a 5. Isn't, I said, a 5. That means this is a 5, but it still doesn't tell me where 6 goes here. However, it does tell me that wherever 6 goes, it's going with a 7 in one of those cells. And if I could see a way that that was helping, I would use it. I can see a way that that helps. If 7 is in one of those two cells, which it must be because 6 is in one of these two, that means that these two cells cannot be 7. And that in turn means that in this box, 7 must be in one of those two. And then in box 8, it's in one of those 3. And in box 2, it's in one of those 3. And maybe that doesn't actually do anything. That's frustrating. I thought that was quite an interesting bit of logic. Okay, 5, 3. 2 and 4 are used here. This one can't be a 2 by Sudoku anymore. So, I don't know. This can't be a 3. Oh, that's done by Sudoku. This can't be a 3 because of the white dot rule. So 3 in box 3 is in one of those two. And 3 in box 9 is in one of those two. And I can't see a way to sort that out. This can't be a 7. That's not interesting. This is 7, 8, or 9. I need to use the positive dots a bit more. I don't quite know how to achieve it though. Oh, I've got a couple of squares still to go. And I've got a 1, 2 pair in this column. So this digit, okay, this is on a square, and it's not 1 or 2 because of that 1, 2 pair, and it's not 3. I don't think it could possibly see more than 4 yellow squares. In fact, I don't think it could see 5 because it would have to see all of those, and that would give a 2 by 2. So that is a 4. Now I don't know that it's yellow, except I do. Okay, that is yellow. And the reason I know that is because this path can't just go straight anymore, or that would only see one cell, which would be there. So this path must kink into column 1. And it must do it for at least 3 cells, because otherwise it's disobeying the rules about 2 by 2s. So it must include those 2 as yellow. This is seeing either 3 cells in the column and 1 here, or 4 cells in the column. And I think either way round, that's yellow and this is blue. And I can't join up the last dot here. But I get a 4 there. Now, Sudoku says this is not a 4. And now this is definitely a 2-4 pair. And this, well, this is still either 1 or 8, and I'm not sure which. There's a 4 in one of these cells. That's interesting. Now, if that's a 4, this has to be a 3. If that's a 4, this has to be a 3, because it can't be a 5. So the 4 in these cells is going with a 3 on a white dot in one of those 2 positions, which is a bit of a peculiarity. Oh, and is this 1 or 2? I still don't know if the path goes into the corner. This digit cannot be 3 or 5 because of the white dot rule. And it can't be 6 because there's a 6 on this white dot. So this is 7 or 9. And 3 is in one of these cells, so there's no 3 in the corner up there. There's no 3 in any corner in this puzzle. One of these is a 3. That's probably not going to do anything. This cannot be, well, it can't be a 3 on the path because we'd have a white dot. This 4 is fulfilled whichever of these is yellow. Oh, goodness, how's that ever going to be resolved? I mean, there will be a way, I just don't know how yet. I love this. This is so interesting. You really have to think a bit differently. Oh, look, 1, 1, that's a 1. Sorry if you've been shouting that at the screen. This is 3, 7, or 9. This is 3, 7, 8, or 9. Now, 6, 1, 5, 2. There's a 3 there and a 4 here. Oh, everything else in the column is 7, 8, or 9. So is that digit 7, 8, or 9. How am I meant to use this information? That's 7, 8, or 9 by sudoku because of the 1, 2 pair here and everything else it sees. This puzzle could be a riot of identifying 7, 8, 9s at the end. 3, 5, 2, 4. I've got a white dot here. I don't know, there's all sorts of things it can be. How about this one? Could be a 1, 2 pair, but it could have... I don't know. I mean, okay, I'm missing something about the constraints. Probably the negative constraint. Oh, hang on, there's a 5 there and there. So one of these is a 5. Oh, well, it couldn't be there on the path. Oh, that's so annoying. But it could be if it's not on the path. If that's a 5, this is a 6, 7 pair. Then you've got 6, 7, 5. Ah, here's something good. This can't be a 2. I could be wrong, actually. I was going to say that can't be a 2 because that can't be a 1. Where is 1 in this column? Annoyingly, it could still be here. And I had nearly ignored that as a possibility. But otherwise, it can't be here by sudoku. It can't be in either of these positions because that would create a 1, 2 white dot breaking this. So it's either here or here. I really need to know if this is a 1 or a 2 and if this is on the path. Is there a way of... Oh, that's not a 3 because of the 3 here. So 3 is definitely in one of these two cells in box 1. Oh, I don't know what it means. 4, 3, 5. This is also not a 3. That's suddenly very clear. This is a 7, 8, 9 triple, and 8 must be on the white dot, so that is 7 or 9. Now, these are not connected with white dots. 8 is definitely there, so that's not an 8. This is 3, 7, or 9. Oh, goodness, I don't know what to do with this. I don't need much more breakthrough. Oh, there's a 6 in one of these two cells. 6, 6, and it's not here because there's definitely a 6 on the white dot, so that's a 6. And there's a 6 here, so there's a 6 here. That fixes 6 in the middle box. That is going to do some work, I think, because this now has to be a 7 on the white. And that's not a 7. I mean, that's as much work as I could see it was doing. Maybe that's not going to be enough. 5, 3, 6, 7, and a 2, 4 pair. Right, these are from 1, 8, 9, but they can't be an 8, 9 pair because there's no white dot. So they include a 1, and that must be an 8. And now I can do this black dot sequence, 8, 4, 2, and that's a 1, 9 pair. This must be 2 or 8 to connect to 1 or 9 on the dot. Sorry, I was trying to take 7 out of this cell, not put it into the other one. Now we've got a 2, 8 pair here. These are from 1, 7, and 9. This one is, in fact, therefore, 1, 7, or 9. Now the white dot here means this is not a 4. 4 is now placed in the box. This is 2 or 8, which forms a pair with that. And this is 1, 7, or 9 as well. And the 1 must be in one of those two cells, and that makes this one a 2, which makes this a 1 in the corner, but the 2 is in a square, and it's looking at this cell. Therefore, that is on the path. Okay, and that's an 8. And that's, oops, that's a 2. This is not a 1. The 1 in the column is here. The 2 has made this an 8. 4, 8, 3, 5. This is a 1, 2 pair. They're resolved. 6, 7, 9 are the triple here. Now, what do I know about those? Nothing really. That is now a 1 though. And there's a 1 in one of those 2 cells. It can't be here because of the white dot, and that can't be a 2, so that's not a 1, and this is. You just have to keep thinking about the rules all the time, I think. And I find it a bit complicated. You're probably doing it a bit quicker than I am. That's not a 9. One of these 2 is a 9. Okay, don't know what that means. 7, 9 pair up here. 1, 2, 4, 3, 6. These white dots must be helpful now. One of these is a 3, 4 pair. It's not there, obviously, because of that 4. So it's up here. 4, 3. And the other one, the even digit is an 8. So the 1 in the column definitely is now here. That puts this as a 5. It hasn't resolved the path as far as I can see, but I can finish the row with a 9. 1, 5. Oh, goodness. The 5 in column 2 is now here. Yes. So that's a 6 on the path. That's not a 6, and that is. This now mustn't be a 7 on this path because there's no white dot. That was thrilling. I'm going to take out the corner marks. They've kind of done their job. That's not a 9. So I've got a 7, 8 pair in this row, 3 and 4 to place. That is straightforward, at least. This digit is 7 or 8. There's a 2. There it is. That's not an 8. That is 7 or 9. That's a pair in the top row. This is 8 in the corner. That's not 8, so that's odd, and this is 8, therefore. That fixes 7 and 8 over here. Now, 3, 7 pair here, and I know that 3 can't be next to 4 on the path because of no white dot. So, maybe I've now... Oh, that has to be a 9 now. Good. 7, 9, 7, and that's a 9. That works. I think I'm finishing off now, although I've still got the path to finish. That's weird. 5 there. What have I got here? A 7 and a 9. Look, I've got all the numbers done virtually now in the puzzle. That is a known 9, so 8 on the dot, 7 there, 9 and 7. This is a 3, and that is the one that can't be on the path. It is definitely a 3, and it's... If it was yellow, we'd have a white dot between those. So we get to finish the path like that, and then we get to finish the puzzle with a 7 here. And that's been great fun all the way through. And I mean, not too tricky, I think, although you just have to keep your mind on the task all the time. Lovely stuff from Ben Needham. What a constructor Ben is, and how long he's been doing this for. It's brilliant. I loved that. That was really good fun and very, very cleverly set up. That is the sort of genius we're getting on the puzzle. And if you go back to that first Ben Needham puzzle hunt, if you're a Patreon, you have to click back a long way in all of our Patreon posts, but it is there, and it was great fun. And this was too. Thank you very much for following us on the channel as always, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.